If you didn't catch Sony's live State of Play event last night, or you don't have 40 plus minutes of your life to dedicate to upcoming Sony events, kick back, crack a brew, grab a rack of ribs, or a less messy snack while I break down everything that was announced, including the release dates if those were spilled, for everything dropping on the PS platform in 2024 and beyond. Let's get it. Alrighty, Stallions and Stallionettes, welcome to the GamerHeaven. I am your host, AK40 Kevin. Yesterday, as Sony tends to do, they hosted their own State of Play event, which happened to be an over 40-minute live stream where a lot was announced, a lot of PSVR titles. The big headliners of the event by far was the pretty long trailer of Death Stranding 2, which we now know is named On the Beach, very Hideo Kojima name. But furthermore than that, we learned about a new IP, a new game series from Hideo Kojima that is action espionage, so probably along the lines of Metal Gear Solid. More on that later. But if you did pick up a shiny new PSVR2 headset, there is going to be some new games for that headset. So we're going to start with the big news right up front, and that is going to be Death Stranding 2 On the Beach. It officially has a name and a traditionally rather long trailer. Now, it does look like Sam Porter is going to be voice acted from Norman Reedus again, sweet, and this time he's facing off against a new enemy group called Drawbridge. As per usual for a Hideo Kojima game, and definitely a cinematic trailer that doesn't really have any context as to what the hell's going on, pretty confusing. We saw a crazy level villain with a chainsaw guitar weapon that shoots lightning bolts. We also saw that Norman Reedus now has a talking puppet, which I guess is no weirder than the infants in a tube from the first game. Graphically, the game looks amazing like the original, and the gameplay mechanics look the same with the I'm a UPS delivery boy in the future. And if you're a fan of the original Death Stranding, I have no doubt in the back of my tuchus that you're gonna like DS2. Having said that, I've given it my college try twice to play Death Stranding, and it's left me flaccid, limp on both attempts, which is shocking because I'm a big, massive Hideo Kojima fan, not just because there's this footage playing on screen of me wearing a sweater from a couple Christmases ago, but because I've been playing MGS1 on the PlayStation 1 since I was a wee lad, and have played every concurrent Metal Gear Solid after that, enjoyed them at different degrees, and then Death Stranding left me with nothing but a noodle whipping around. However, what plumps me right back up is this announcement trailer from Hideo, which is a new IP, a new tactical espionage game, so most likely along the lines of Metal Gear Solid. We also got the best look that we've had thus far on the upcoming action game Rise of Ronin, which is coming out March 22nd. This trailer wasn't just long, but packed full of content and gave us a look at a lot of the mechanics, including the hub world of Yokohama, some 1v1 swordplay, a parry system, and a whole lot mo. This game reminded me a lot of Ghost of Tsushima with advanced movement. You have a grapple hook, which then pops into a glider, which you can land onto your horse. But the combat looks so similar to Ghost of Tsushima, where you're timing parries, and then you had that graphic, gory katana dismemberments. And I will say it's a little bit more graphic with the kill animations, the fatalities, if you will, but it's definitely giving Ghost of Tsushima with advanced movement vibes, and looks like it'll be a hell of a good time. If you've been hearing rumors trickling down the grapevine that Until Dawn is not only getting a remaster but also ported to PC, that is absolutely correct. It's happening later in 2024. All we really know at this point is that the remaster has enhanced graphics, and the developer team Ballistic Moon is quarterbacking the project. Stellar Blade also received a deep dive and an official release date. In case you never heard of this one, it is an action game developed by Shift Up and published by SIE, Sony Interactive. The release date on this one is April 26th of this year. This takes place in a post-apocalyptic setting where humans have been forced to flee their colonies, and the main lady protagonist Eve and her two companions, Adam and Lily, squad up to destroy mech-like enemies, kind of like Horizon Zero Dawn, as well as hostile survivors. So you got your humans trying to give you the business, and then you got your mechanoids that you can blast metal components off of. Should be a good time, especially when you pair that with a robust weapon collection, guns and swords, and some stylish action combat, fast pace, and ready to fudge. Capcom came out of the woodwork sharing yet another Dragon's Dogma 2 trailer. This is the second or third trailer we've had now, and that is coming out March 22nd. A lot of hype around this one as it is a long-awaited sequel to the original. Now, for my Sega fans, Sonic 10 Shadow Gens is going to be an enhanced remaster of Sonic Gens. Not only a facelift, but also new additional content. The teaser trailer did show the same levels we saw in the OG from 2011, as well as some new levels where Shadow takes the lead as the playable character. That's coming to PS4, 5, Xbox Series S and X, Xbox One, Nintendo Switch, and the personal computer, so pretty much all platforms except Macintosh, in autumn of 2024. We've been in no shortage of survival horror over-the-shoulder third-person adventures such as, well, well, RE4 remake, which exploded last year. But for the Silent Hill fans, developer Konami did reveal that the shittily named The Short Message, a new free-to-play Silent Hill game, is available to play now. Konami also shared a new trailer for Silent Hill 2 Remake, but no release date or even window was given on that. Ken Levine, a name that might be familiar because he's the creator of BioShock, a series that is near and dear to my rear as one of my favorites of all time. And Ken is developing his next game, Judas, which we have a brand new trailer for, and it definitely resembles his OG work. That's a good thing. This definitely looks a lot more colorful and vibrant than the BioShock trilogy, at least the first two games where you're in Rapture. I will say once you go to New Columbia and you're in the sky, it's a lot more colorful and vibrant, but it's still a dystopian first-person combat style game. Looks sick as shit. V Rising, an isometric action game with some Diablo vibes, not only got a trailer, but it's also coming to PlayStation 5 in 2024, and early access on the PC started back in 22. So if you've been tracking this one, you might have already tasted it on PC, but if you want that casual console experience, it's coming in 24, baby. Dave the Diver, which needs no introduction, it won my Indie Game of the Year at last year's Game Awards. Even though technically it's not an indie, it gave me so many indie vibes, and it's closer to an indie than pretty much anything that I usually play, which is those AAA blockbuster bangers. Indies don't usually tickle me in the testes. There's nothing wrong with them. It's just they're so simple in the mechanics, and generally just they're almost like mobile games, little time wasters like Candy Crush, but not so much with Dave or Dredge, two of my favorites from last year. A little sidetrack there, but back on target. Crosshairs over Godzilla's noggin. That's right, Godzilla is now in Dave the Diver. But more importantly than that, the game is actually coming to PlayStation this April, as thus far it's on Switch, PC, Steam Deck concurrently, but not the PlayStation, sweetheart. That is changing in May of 24. If you haven't played Dave the Diver, it is an extreme amount of fun. There's basically two game mechanics, cooking and fishing, but it goes so much deeper than that and is so addictive. Not a lot of information on Zenless Zone Zero, but this is HoYoverse's newest game, and today we did learn that it is in development for the PS5 platform. For the VR boys, go ahead and strap on your headset because we're talking about Metro Awakening. We did get a VR trailer, and this game is set before the events of Metro 2033. And you're going to be in the boots, or I guess I should say loafers, of a doctor searching the Metro tunnels to find his missing wife. Next in the VR department, we have Legendary Tales, which is from Urban Wolf Games and does include mechanics such as combat with magic, swords, hammers, bows, and arrows, all in a fantasy environment. So kind of like Skyrim. I don't know why I picked that particular game, but you know, any fantasy title will work. Much like that Panama Beach Spring Break from 4 years ago, we're talking about Foam Stars, which is actually a PlayStation Plus title dropping next week. It's from Square Enix, and it's a competitive foam shooter. That's the actual genre, a CFS, a competitive foam shooter. So I guess think along the lines of Splatoon, which isn't foam, it's paint. Similar, you're squirting on the competition. You do that in regular shooters anyway. Give them the business. Glaze them in your KD ratio. Then we have Helldivers 2, which did get a nice juicy trailer, which was the kicking off point for the State of Play event. Even though it was just a brief look, we did get a little taste of the game's multiplayer ahead of its launch on February 8th, so right around the corner. That was Sony's winter of 2024 State of Play event summarized. Personally, I don't think it was as action-packed or as content-juiced as PlayStation-specific YouTubers are trying to make this event up to be. Also, did you know that those type of content creators exist? If you didn't, you do now. I'm talking about the Shilly McShills for Xbox, PlayStation, and Nintendo. Content creators that if you zoom the lens out on their channel, all of their content revolves around one platform, and they definitely reframe every single news article to make it seem like their console is superior, even if it's the Xbox, which has sold less than a third of the PS5 this generation. These are the kind of guys that just simply can't admit that there's shortcomings, cons, or limitations to all of the current consoles. There's even downsides to PC gaming. I know you don't want to admit that either, Master Ace, but yeah, I want to hear what you're excited about from this event down there in the comment section. Me personally, the games that I was most juiced up for is going to be the new tactical espionage IP from Hideo Kojima, because it's probably got a little MGS flavor in there. And I know the man makes dank bangers, and I know a lot of people do enjoy Death Stranding, but I personally also know a lot of gamers that are in my camp, the camp of those that doesn't like a glorified delivery game where you trip over every pebble and moss slick and leaf in the ground. That wasn't very articulate. immaculate, but Ackman has a video popping up right in front of my face. A little deep dive, get your swimmer's putty in the ear, as to why Death Stranding is just a big old stinker. Not to bash a game that I don't like, to praise a game that I'm excited for. The new Hideo Kojima IP looks sick. Until Dawn, I do want to pick that up on the PC side of the house, crank all the graphical settings to the right with the 4090, and see what that game can look like graphically, because it looked good on the consoles. I'm sure it'll look good on the PS5 and PC, and if you haven't played it yet, that'll be a great opportunity to play the remastered version. Sonic games have been pretty hit and miss over the last 7 or 8 years, but the core fundamentals are there. It's based on Sonic, which is a solid Sega IP, so it has a chance to be a banger. Silent Hill is probably one of my least favorite horror survival games in comparison to Resident Evil, Dead Space, and the others, but that's coming. Judas is probably what I was the most excited for, or at least the most surprised by. I knew this game was in development, but I didn't know that it looked like this until I watched the trailer, and now I'm getting a lot of BioShock vibes from it, and I'm excited. The fact that Dave the Diver is finally coming to PlayStation, I've been playing the shit out of it on Switch, Steam Deck, Switch and Steam Deck. I thought there was more, and now it's coming to PlayStation. So if you haven't played it yet and that's your only platform, it's a fun game. I wasn't really excited for any of the VR titles announced, unfortunately. I am a PSVR2 headset owner. That's not what's unfortunate. What's unfortunate is the content coming out. The best experiences for the PSVR2 are ones that were available at launch. We're talking about Gran Turismo 7. If you want to really feel like you're in the car, the VR works really good with that game. Horizon VR, Call of the Mountain. I do have some no commentary gameplay, about 45 minutes of me playing it in my room. You can see me moving around. It's fun. That's a fun experience. Almost everything that I would want to play on VR, if it's available on another headset, for example, the Valve Index or the Quest 3, which I don't currently own but have used, and it's really cool, I would rather play it on those. So the PSVR2 has become, for me, a PS exclusive device. So if there is a VR title that's only available on that headset, bam, that's where I'm going to play it. So kind of the same way I approach the Nintendo Switch. If there's a third-party game that's available to play on any other platform, a baked potato, a pager, I'm going to play it on anything but the Switch. But for those dank exclusives, Zelda, Metroid, Pokemon, well, I guess we got Power World now, so Pokemon's really not that relevant. Video coming on that in the near future, because I just made a bold statement there. That's when I bust out the old switcheroo, and that's also how I'm kind of viewing the PSVR 2. I was hoping for some more killer PSVR 2 exclusives coming out in 2024. Doesn't really seem like we're getting that. We're getting more games that are available on other VR platforms, or ones that I'm going to pass on because they either seem so simplistic that it's not even worth putting on the headset and adjusting my IPD, or they're just not really my flavor. That is my thoughts. I want to hear yours. Drop them in the comments section below, and I will see you Stallions and Stallionettes tomorrow. Peace. If you enjoyed the video, liking it helps it to get seen by more gamers, so this information will reach and assist them as well. Much like the back of the TV, I've got plugs for all of my socials down there in the description below. And your wallet will greatly thank you if you check the description, because there are exclusive discounts on a ton of products, including controllers, KontrolFreeks, keyboards, mouse pads, clothes, and energy drinks. And keep in mind that you, the viewer, keep this channel running. The more Stallions and Stallionettes trotting around the stable, the better, so mollywop that subscribe button like it owes you money, and we'll have the same amount of fun tomorrow.